Well, there's something missing off my 2024 Road Glide. And if you see it back there, there's a lot missing. That's because in today's video, we're installing chrome saddlebag guards. So welcome back to Road Reality, my friend. I'm John, and I'll be your tour guide on the Road Glide today. Yep, I got the Harley ones. I got them at the dealer. I had some points on my card, so I was like, yeah, there's a discount for me. But they wanted an hour's labor or hour and a half labor to install them. And I did it on the street glide, so I'm not scared of this one. This is not a bad install. I mean, I got some tools laid out, everything needed from the instructions. There's the instructions. Now, some of the prep work you got to do is remove the seat, remove the saddlebags, remove the side covers. And I have my saddlebag stands over here. I did a video on that. There's an info card above. There's my seat, but I laid everything out side by side so that you can tell what side everything goes on. I know, I probably shouldn't need to do that, but it just makes life a little bit easier. Now, to remove the saddlebags, it's just 2 thumb screws. You yank them off. The side covers pull off from the side. And the seat, I got the seat bolt that doesn't require a tool, but you'll need a T27 to get the seat strap off, the passenger grab strap. I don't know what it's called, but it's a strap that goes over the seat. But in case you're doing this at home, just put the screws back in. Just don't let them come up through this captured nut on the back, because otherwise it can damage your seat. So I've kept mine so it won't damage the seat. That's what under the seat looks like on the 2024 touring model. Yep, I tucked my my battery tender lead out of the way. So we're all good to get started with this project. First thing we're going to do is remove these 2 bad boys. I need a driver on this side, and I think this is a T40. Yeah, T40. So we'll get that seated in there, and then I've got a 1/2 inch on the other side. So we just need to loosen these bad boys up. Boy, that's a long bolt. And with that one loose, we can do the same thing on the other side, except this one's going to be difficult, and it's going to be a 9/16. Yep, 9/16. Okay. All right, so this is the front bolt and the front nut. We'll put those back together. And by front, I mean closest this way. Now this one is in there crooked. The nut is already off. So I'm just gonna push in on the muffler to make this easier to remove. There it is. And that's the back one and the back nut. So closest to the wheel there. But if you notice, one's longer and one's shorter. This is the one that's further out from the center of the bike, and this one's closer in. So now we've removed these 2 bolts and nuts, and you might have to push the muffler in a little bit. This back one was a little bit tweaked, I guess. It's time to take off this, and the nut is on the back there, so I got to get a wrench out for that. That's going to be, I think, a 1/2 inch. Let's see. Nope, it's going to be a 9/16 as well. Yep, 9/16. Okay. All right, got our 9/16 here. Got a wrench on the back of it. Time to break it loose. All right, now she's out of there. Put our nut back on. We've got a nice washer there. That's nice. Now we got to get this bad boy off. That's going to be a 1/2 inch socket. So we're going to loosen these bad boys. Yeah, I can unscrew with my hands. I'm so strong. And drop washers. So now this whole piece can come right off the bike. You just wiggle it off, and there's your saddlebag support. This is the stock bit. We're going to need this. So I got to figure out how to remove that. So that was easy. The metal bracket and the rubber bushing, they just slide out. And if you can see in here, there's a piece that sticks up on the rubber gasket, or rubber bushing rather, and that is forward facing on the bike. So I just lined it up and put it in the new piece. And now I've got my new chrome piece. So on the bike, they're going to go together about like that and bolt on. So let's do that now. And if you're wondering why I didn't loosen everything on the left side the same way I did the right, remove parts, it's because I like to have a visual reference of what was going on versus what's going to be going on. Does that make sense? Yeah, leave the video a like if that makes sense. So what you notice here is I have loosely attached the 2 bolts to the muffler to hold the new under saddlebag support in place, which sort of lines it up with the holes back here so that I can start to get these guys going. And you don't want to tighten anything down. You just want to loosely put everything in place. And that way you can get everything lined up before you button it up. So in this case, I got to lift up on the muffler slightly, but I'm going to start with this outer one. I'm going to run it all the way through and then start my nut. There we go. And then I should be able to put the front one on, or the center one. And it's going to take some wiggling around. This is why you don't tighten anything down. Yep. Now that this one's started, this will hold it in place while I wriggle this other one, this front one around and get it through. So I've removed these two bolts now. Got to make life easy. So the trick of this is this piece goes into the fender, this one goes up and down, and this one bolts to that. So you've got three pieces that all have to line up for that one hole. There we go. All right. So that one's in. They're both in. We can tighten them down. And I just noticed that this one is backwards from the way the other one is. So just to keep them lined up, and I mean, look at that. Oh, that's easy, right? Just to keep them equal, we'll do it this way. Maybe it provides some sort of, I don't know, assistance somewhere. So I will seat my bit, get this bad boy all snugged up, and apparently it doesn't need any Loctite. That's snug. So we'll swap positions. And of course, this one's going to be a 1/2 inch. All right, now that that is snug, we need our front end piece. So now this vertical piece goes on. It's going to slide into place. Make sure it lines up. And we're going to start one bolt right up here, nice and loose, just to hold it in place. There we go. Oh yeah, that's going to be nice. Now we need a hex, of course, because why wouldn't you? And it's supposed to go all the way through here. And this is a 3/16, but we're going to start our nut here by hand. Look at that. Easy peasy. And then we need a way to tighten this bad boy down. Is that a 1/2 inch? I bet it's not. Man, they just used every freaking bolt and nut that they could on this. So the nut on the back is going to be 7/16. Yay us. All right. We're just going to not even snug this up. We're just going to make sure it doesn't fall out. There we go. That's good. So now we need our other bolt to go through here and come out the back. Again, no Loctite needed. That's a 9/16. Now we want to install these bad boys in the mufflers, or in the muffler. Now it's time to tighten everything down. So we're going to start up here. That's a big one. Yep, that's a T45. No Loctite needed on this job, apparently. There, that's good. I'm going to work my way down to here. Get this bad boy gootin' tight. 2 ugga-duggas ought to be enough. Now to get these bad boys back here done. Is this really a T45? Huh, I was using a T40 earlier. Whoopsie. There you go. That's about right. It gives you all the torque specs, but this is simple stuff. Except that one's a 1/2 inch. Remember, John? And this one's a T40. Wow, that is so odd. Yep, that's a T40. Nice and tight. Okay. Then these guys, they're going to be 1/2 inch. There you go. Snug. And then a 1/4 turn. Perfect. Now this Allen one. Where'd my Allen bit go? There it is. And then it had a small bit on the back. Yeah, there we go. 7/16. Not going anywhere. Bolted on. Job done. That's one side done, and the other side is just the same, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And through the magic of video editing, we're done with the install. Let's take a look. Look at all this shiny chrome. It is kind of a cheap out that they leave the black bar there. That's kind of silly. We come around to the other side, you can see I've got it installed here. Look at that, nice and easy. It's not too hard of an install, really. Don't be like me and leave your chrome parts out in the sun for a 1/2 hour, though. You'll end up just about burning yourself. Anyway, it's time to put the bike back together, which is pretty easy. Let me show you how these parts go on so you can see how they came off as I walk through the sun and ruin my lighting. The side cover has 3 mounting holes or pegs that go into the holes here. So we slot it up, make sure that your passenger peg is down. And if you line up the top 2, The bottom one goes in easy. There's one, there's two, there's three. And I hear that if you remove this black piece, there's blue there, but I don't want to do it. But now we can put that up. It doesn't hit. We have clearance here. I'll do the other one. So now to put the seat back on, there's a tongue right here on the back of the tank, and there's a groove in the seat. So you line them up and it pops into place. Man, that is silly easy. That's easier than my last bike was. All right, next up is the seat strap, which goes in through a slot here and then gets screwed in place on either side. So I will remove this T27 screw and washer, and you just run the end through the slot here, and there's a metal grommet built into this strap. And then once it's through, it lines up right here, goes on into place. And just snug it down. There we go. And it's not a metal grommet. There's a plastic piece in it. Now that that side's in and this side is in, it's time to fasten our seat bolt. If yours is stock, it's a T27, I think. I removed mine in a previous video thanks to a viewer sending me this. Snug it down. Good to go. Now we just have to mount our saddlebags. And I said I would show you. So hopefully you can see on the camera there, there's two thumb screws that stick out and the controls are on the inside. I'll show them to you in a minute. So the saddlebag rests right there. Open the lid, get them both started, run them down. So these are the two thumb screws I was talking about. Very easy. Once you get them started, you go in, you can hear it clicking. You don't want to over tighten them because it will ruin that clicking. That's good. There we go, nice and tight. Look at that. That looks nice. Better protection for the saddlebags in a tip over. Better places to mount GoPros for someone like me. And yeah, that's nice. Oh yeah, all buttoned up, looking good, feeling good. And the sun came back out to show off the chrome. This is great. But I got one pro tip for you. So you've got the tender that comes out here, right? And because of where it comes out, it's rubbed on the side cover a little bit here. And instead of like tucking it back up over there, I'm just gonna zip tie it right here. So I've got a black zip tie. This is pure function over form, really. Why would you do this to your brand new bike, John? Because I don't like scratching the paint. There you go. And this is exactly what I did to the last bike. And we'll just clip that there and rotate it down out of the way. There we go. That's much better. And I can bring it all the way up here if I want, or back down, whatever. I can position it like that. That's good. Well, she's all buttoned up. Extra protection in the back. Look at that. Oh yeah. And more chrome. Who doesn't love more chrome? Anyway, I hope you're having a great day. This was an easy job. You can do it at home. It took me about an hour and I was filming, and I saved myself an hour's worth of dealership labor. So yay me. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, boop the like button. Please consider subscribing and go check out that video. And don't forget your two mantras. One, you have a 100% track record of making it through a bad day. And two, do something nice for yourself every day. Coffee, 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 coffee. Maybe it's adding a little extra protection to your bike at home. Bye.